I've been on my grind. Only time I tell these niggas sweats and science. Tell them all is well, no bro, he got his iron. We can take it down, and you can stick it now. No broski out of there, say I've been on my grind. Only time I tell these niggas sweats and science. Tell them all is well, no bro, he got his iron.
Sup? My crazy Korean, I don't know why I had trouble saying that. They bit my face on the street. Clucking Koreans, bro. I'm sorry. I love you guys. I probably have, right, fans out there in Korea. Is that the political, thing to say, I think? I don't know. Though.
Jane had been in Korea for the semester as part of her major in university.
Right.
She wanted to have some sort of romantic experience in Korea, and her friend recommended her to use a dating app to meet English-speaking.
What if I had a show on Netflix? What would that be? What would that be called? Or how would that go? Would it be like Gators, Gators advice, or Gator talks, or I don't know. You know what would be dope? If certain reaction channels will be on Netflix, or I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking outside the box, but just saying. It will be something. I would love to have a show on Netflix, but I don't know what the show will be about, or I don't know, But I just want to let y'all know, if you have any friends, any family members, or anybody that comes to you, right, and talks about they have a dating app, or anything along the lines of those, just cut off their friendship or cut off any kind of relationship right then and there, okay? Don't prolong it. Don't keep it going. Don't say maybe, or what if, or no. Just cut it off at the base right then and there, please.
That way she could meet someone and experience the dating culture. About 3 weeks later, she met a guy named Tim on the app.
Jesus.
He eagerly wanted to meet for a date.
Sus?
And he seemed nice, but she should have asked more questions, and he didn't give many details about himself.
Hella sus.
Tim was a guy a bit older than her, and claimed he was a college student. Jane assumed he had done his military time and returned to school. He wanted to come to her place originally to pick her up, but Jane...
Okay, am I confused? But is Tim from Korea? Or is he old girl and just visiting Korea? Cause you cannot be from Korea and your name is Tim. You can't know. That's not how that works. I don't care what you say. That's like me, saying I'm from I don't know, China, or Ethiopia. You talking about, hey, what's your name? Marcus. Somebody's lying. Somebody's lying. If you don't know my name, my legal name is Marcus, but I'll go by Gattor. So, just for anybody that doesn't know. So, I don't know if I ever explained or how I got the name Gattor, but yeah.
lived in an all-women's dorm and didn't want him to know exactly where she lived since they were still strangers.
Right.
So instead, she insisted they meet at the main town center near the subway. Tim really didn't like this idea, which looking back was a red flag, but she insisted.
Wow.
The night of the date, Jane waited an hour for this guy.
Jesus.
Why was he so late, she thought. Tim weirdly claimed that he just wanted to make her wait. She thought he was kidding and
I'm sorry. I keep pausing. I'm sorry. But waiting for anybody for an hour, especially if like you just like you just met that person and y'all going on a date or whatever, right? Waiting, man. All right. Say, I'm talking to y'all. Put it in a comment section. What's the maximum time you would wait on somebody, for like a date or something? Like first dates or whatever. Like what's the max time you would you give that person? I'm not giving that person no hour. I might give you like, cause traffic and everything, lights be hella long, stuff happens. Okay, I get it, but an hour though, like, that's why I leave. No matter where I go, I leave hella early because things happen. But for a date, how long would you all say would be like the maximum time you would give that person to arrive? If you say an hour, like that's just ridiculous. But what's the maximum time? Like, I would probably give, cause things happen. I'll probably give you like probably max 20 minutes, if that. And that's with a notice. Like, you text me or you call me, be like, hey, I'm gonna be like a couple minutes late, okay. But if you're not gonna say nothing and you just pop up an hour, first of all, if you're an hour late, I'm not gonna be there. I'm not. Like, you didn't give me no notice, well, I'm not giving you no notice. Like, there it is.
Just him a laughing emoji, assuming he was just lost. When he finally arrived, he was much smaller than she thought. But a man's height was never something she cared much about. He was also quite thin. Maybe Jane let her guard down because she didn't see him as physically threatening. Right off the bat, he was way too touchy and breathed creepily and heavily. Jane was so off-put with his demeanor and felt odd about the situation. Then, the first thing he said to her was, "You're not as white as I thought you were."
Wow!
She thought this was a translation error, but his English was near perfect, so she asked him for clarification, and he said, "I thought you would be more white.
What?
Are you pure European?" Now she was officially weirded out. Why does he care in the first place anyway?
Racist?
Why does her skin color matter to this guy? He kept talking about how he wished the color of her eyes were darker.
Wow.
But then she brushed it off as him being nervous and trying to start a conversation. When they arrived at the tea place, she tried to order a basic raspberry tea. But he stopped her and told Jane that she had to have this special one.
What?
He really insisted she only ordered that type of drink.
I'm good.
She was weirded out by it, but went along. After, he asked if they could look around Jane's school. It was dark, but the school is well lit, so she agreed.
Oh my
The whole
God.
time they walked around, he would randomly stop and grab her for long hugs. He kept grabbing and breathing hard into her neck. It was so awkward, and she stopped him. He also wouldn't tell any personal details about himself. He even said at one point, "I'm a mysterious man." And he also said something like, "You look so much like my favorite movie character." And Jane asked, "Who?" But he said,
Is this the same guy that her friend suggested that they meet up, or did she only suggest like the dating app and then she found him on that? Because if her friend offered for them two to meet up, cluck both of them bitches. I feel like he's the type of guy that doesn't really get out like that. That doesn't really have very little to no human interaction. right? And then I kind of feel like he's the type of person to have like a sex doll or something like that, or something along the lines of because you can't call him you can't call him normal and just it's so much with him. I don't know where to start. I really don't. It's like he was born with the cluck gene, you know? So it's like I don't yeah. It's so much stuff that's wrong with him. It's not even funny. So much. And I feel like as the video keeps going, it's going to be more and more stuff that's wrong with him.
She would have to figure it out on her own. Finally, he said, I want to go to a dark area. He somehow knew there was a wooded area behind Jane's campus. Jane said no, and that she wanted to stay near the main campus in town. But he kept pushing. Finally, he grabbed her arm and said, I can't let anyone see. Jane ripped her arm away and began to go back to the main road, and he followed. He was pleading with Jane to stay. She told him she would message him, lying obviously, saying anything to get him to leave. Suddenly, he leans towards Jane, and she thinks he's going to kiss her, but it was so much worse. Instead, she felt pain in her face. It took her a second to realize that he was biting her face.
Cannibalism.
He leaned his head sideways and bit on Jane's nose and cheek as hard as he could.
Oh my God!
She screamed and pushed him away from her. His face looked so freaky and she barely had time to react in words. Instead, Jane ran up to the sidewalk until she saw a convenience store on the right. She ran to the back of the store and bent down, freaked out. The owner started to yell at her, but she couldn't explain the situation. She just begged him in English to let her stay. After waiting for some time, she realized that Tim didn't end up following her. She appeared outside the store and didn't see him.
You sure about that?
She immediately texted her friend to take her back to the dorm. On the way back, Jane messaged Tim again and basically told him to stay away from her and something along the lines of calling the police if he continued.
The fact that you did not hit him or kick him or grab his balls so tight that them bitches popped is crazy, right? But then the fact that you still have his number is also crazy, you know? And the fact that you did not stay in that convenience store for little to no time, bruh. Like, I would have stayed in that mother clucker for hours, if not all night, until the sun came out. I don't give a damn about what the convenience store employee has to say. Clark, somebody just bit me on my face. What? That's what that's what they do out there in Korea. I'm joking.
You to stalk her, and then she blocked him.
Why
She
did
was
I-
so thankful that she never let him pick her up at the dorm. Jane also called her mom and told her everything that happened, when suddenly she said, wait, what did he ask you? She then put some details together and realized that all these weird things had to do with the 50 Shades of Grey books.
What the hell?
The eye color, the way he dressed, and the tea he made her drink, and the random lines he said, it all matches his little fantasy. It was so creepy, but that was the last time that Jane ever saw Tim again.
But was
On
that
a happier note, this bad experience didn't stop Jane. She eventually met someone else in Korea and they ended up falling in love. They even did the whole long distance thing and now she's living in Korea, studying and working. It's been years since this whole strange encounter, but if she ever runs into him again, Tim, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Not by her, because apparently, you know, there's no motive to that. She could have. There were so many times she could have just beat him up and did some physical damage to him, but she didn't. I don't know why. And I gotta be honest with you, you know. And I'm talking from like the female's point of view. I gotta be honest with you. Considering what happened to me in Korea, I would have left. I would have left that night. I would have just went home, and I would have probably either never came back to Korea, or I would have just took. It would have been a very long time until I went back to Korea, and if I did, I would definitely have like 5-6 people with me, at least, deep, just in case. But man. What? I'm sorry. But this whole story was cluck. And Tim, I'm gonna go ahead and add you to the cluck name, to the male's cluckless name. But has any females out there have any of you all actually ever hit or kicked or grabbed with force a man's balls on purpose? If so, what was the if you feel comfortable saying this in the comment section, what was the reason behind it? Like, why did you do that? Because I've never experienced that. I'm a gentleman. I don't know. I'm a very charismatic, lovable, treat everybody with the utmost respect type of person. So there's not gonna be a chance in hell somebody would ever do that to my general area. But yeah. So I mean, if any of you all females have ever done that to a guy, God, I'm sorry. And if any guys has ever experienced that, again, I'm sorry. Because that area, the balls, it's sensitive, you know? It's probably like equivalent to, I don't know what's more sensitive, a man's balls or a woman's breast. I don't know. Because there be times where, like, I don't mean to do it, but, like, I would, like, slightly, I don't know, graze or, like, tap or, like, bump into, like, a woman's breast, and I don't mean to. And it'd be, like, I barely touch them. It'd be, like, they'll be, like, ah, or, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, just something like that. You know, like, come on, yo. Come on. I barely touch you. You can't tell me it's that sensitive. Jesus. Now, it's probably sensitive when, like, a female is pregnant. Hair. Whatever. But, okay, I'm done talking about that. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family. And yes, I have a Christmas sweater. Where you have a choice.